Hello, Dr. Matthew Haislip here, and I wanted to just take a minute and share 5 things that I wish I knew when I was a young brass player. These could be 5 things that I wish I had paid attention to that I was taught by teachers along the way, because I did have amazing teachers. But now, as a 35-year-old guy, I kind of wish that these 5 things had been more apparent to me when I was younger. The first thing is that sound production is what it's all about, making a beautiful sound. As a brass player, the middle range tone is so important because we take that middle range sound higher, lower, louder, softer, faster, and slower to get better at our instruments. And if our sound is not good, and if we have some issues with sound production in the middle range, then that will follow us all the way through the high and low range. And this middle range sound is our tone. We want to make it as good as we can. So we don't want to overly manipulate the tone, but we do want to just make it a resonant, full, beautiful sound. And we can make that better by focusing on beautiful lip slurs, doing chromatic scales in a slurred manner, such as Clark Study Number 1, by doing overtone series slurs, and by taking that sound with us as we go higher or lower. I practiced my slurs, and I practiced the exercises that I'm talking about, but I kind of did them in a kind of automatic way. I didn't really focus on taking the sound with me as I went. So really, I wasn't really getting better. So I wish I had realized, no, you have to take that beautiful resonant sound with you. And that plays a part into the second thing that I wish I knew when I was younger. And that is that the entire focus of brass playing needs to be on the air and the phrase over the muscles. Really, if we focus on the tissue and the muscles and the face for our brass playing, we are making a huge mistake. And we are going to develop playing problems that will be hard to recover from. So, for instance, just as an example, when I was younger, I really focused on my embouchure a lot, and on my lips, and the movement and careful calculations of my lips. And so I developed a very lip-driven tone production and a very tight, tense, high range, because I was focused on the lips doing the work. And it's easy to fall into this trap because brass pedagogy talks a lot about lip slurs or lip flexibility or lip tension, lip strength, lip manipulation, and lip... really, the embouchure becomes the focus, our physical lips. And as my good friend Skip Sneed would say, this is what the world's best embouchure sounds like. Nothing without air. So the air is what gives our music its sound, its phrase, its difference in range, in tone, in pitch, in articulation. The air is the main focus, or it should be. So, for instance, I struggled with, and I still am trying to get over this, as you can see, in my videos and in my playing. I'm a work in progress. I'm still trying to get better at these things myself and trying to overcome the way that I played for decades, really. But one of the struggles that I've had is that I would move a lot when I would articulate, and my articulation was really kind of rough and not very clear. So I would have people would tell me, hey, you're moving too much, just stop moving so much. And I would try to not move, but I was still focused on my tongue and its role in articulating on the instrument. Then later, it really became clear as I talked to other people, and I was probably taught this, I just forgot it and focused so much on the physical side of things. But my good friend Brett Hodge mentioned that in order to play such perfect high entrances as he does, what he thought about was getting the air before the tongue. And that really blew my mind. I was going, the air before the tongue, how does that work? And what it is that if the air is not right at the front of the tongue, at the same instance as you're tonguing, then you will have a delay and a rough articulation. You'll have a missed note. You'll have a a garbled entrance. So it's really about getting that air right at the front of the note. And if you are doing that, it doesn't matter where in the mouth you're placing the tongue that much if the air is right at the front. And that took time for me to realize as well. So I wish I had focused on that. This also plays into part 3, or number 3, of the 5 things that I wish I knew. And that is that range and flexibility on the instrument are about airspeed. Okay? So I would try to manipulate my lips for flexible passages and try to play them in a very controlled manner with my lips. When, for instance, famous brass exercise that people use to warm up. That is not possible if you are manipulating the lips to place every note in where it goes. That is only possible if you're allowing the airspeed to place the notes in their resonant center. And so in order to do that, you have to work on slow slurs, allowing the airspeed to do the work. And I think that this is possible by focusing on just blowing faster air as you go higher. I don't even really want to think about where the support is coming from, rather than just the idea of blowing faster air. Any kid can do that if you just have them go and blow faster air. So as you're ascending, you blow faster air. And I really believe that our high range can only go as high as we have sound left for that range. So as you are extending into the higher range, if you manipulate your lips and if you raise your tongue too early, then the tone gets cut off and we can't go any higher because there's no more tone left. So this goes back to taking the sound from the middle register into the high register. So in order to do that, you have to just blow support with faster air, and then at the peak of the register, as Randy Gardner, one of my great teachers, would say, at the peak of the slur, then you're adding the tongue arch to blow faster air, and you're saving it until the end by blowing faster air. And this way you can really go and extend into the super high range by allowing the airspeed to do the work and not focused on super manipulation of the lips. I do think that some players, maybe they have their body mapping more in tune to their lips, so they are able to buzz and free buzz and control their aperture to a very intense degree and not run into the problems of pinching and of lip manipulated sounding playing. They are able to play with freedom and they are able to make it work. Clearly, there are great players that do this. For some of us, myself, I'm one of these players. If I focus too much on the lip tension and on manipulating with the lips, I get a lot of trouble. So, and some players found that they were able to do that very focused lip tension driven playing fine for a long time, and then suddenly one day it presented all sorts of problems and their lips clamped up and they were not able to play with freedom. So for most of us, I feel it is really important to focus on the airspeed on the musical phrase. So you're focusing on the music and you're just blowing through the notes with the airspeed that you've learned in your warm-up, focusing on overtone series slurs. That's where we actually take the fundamental building blocks of our playing and we really incorporate those into our music that we're making, is by doing a steady daily warm-up where you are focused on only changing notes by airspeed or articulating notes very clearly. And these building blocks then make our playing better and better and better. So, good. And then number 4 kind of also plays into all of this. I was avid at collecting etude books and duet books and method books and all sorts of materials, and I was very, very thankful that I had a teacher in high school who gave me his collection of old books. So, but one of the things that kind of got in my way was that I was really focused on playing the right books and the right exercises, thinking that those would make me better. But it was not intuitive to me, as it should have been, that just playing those exercises and those materials will not make you better. You have to play them in a very methodical manner, working out from a scaffold where your playing ability is to the next level, making each note more beautiful, more resonant, more in tune, more focused, and that if you're just going through these exercises without really stopping to fix the mistakes, then you are staying the same or going backwards and getting worse. That is very intuitive to a lot of people, but as a young person, I was lazy in that regard, and I didn't quite take the advice of teachers to really, really buckle down and make those things better. And the fifth thing that also plays into this is that ear training is so vital. And I really wish that I had done more singing and more focused work on ear training in my younger days, because that is what it's all about. And all five of these really cultivate it into or come together into a central focused philosophy of brass playing, that we want to make a beautiful resonant sound, and we want to play with a solid understanding of the pitch and the phrase and the things that we were trying to do in the music, by having worked on all the fundamentals in a relaxed, air-driven, music-driven manner, that's not focused on muscle and the tissue, but that's focused on the airspeed and the phrase that we're trying to play. So I hope this helps. This really is my central guiding philosophy of trying to get better at the horn now, and I wish it had been more in my focus when I was younger. Hope this helps. Have a great day. Thank you.